the graders.
Okay. What did you say, Stephanie?
We were greeted.
Did most of you shake somebody's hand and, yeah, and they said welcome, etc.? I was running around trying to do the technical difficulty, but so I apologize for that. That's an example of building rapport. It's so critical that you connect with kids. So you guys are a class, just like a class of students, and we want to make sure we're getting engaged with you and getting you active. And I was talking to Rick Fong here, who introduced himself earlier and has done some lessons for us. And if you don't mind, would you come on up and sort of talk about how you might approach this with everybody?
Sure. All right. Well, I know that when Brenda came over here, she says she's getting a little tired. And then they feed us. We get a little bit more tired. So if I can have everybody stand up just a little bit. Shake it out and stay up. Please, stay up. Stay up, stay up, stay up, stay up. Stretch out a little bit. All right. I got a question for you. How's everybody doing?
Great.
Okay, now I want to be able to stay standing up now. I was over there before everything started over here, and I was just kind of reviewing some things in my own brain, and I was hearing they were starting to come in for classes over there. And a guy comes in, he's like, I like to come in early. So I'm assuming without looking, because I don't know the format over there, but there's probably people on the other end over there. So here's what I want to do. When I ask how you're doing, I want you to be able to disturb them. I want you to say, unbelievable! And I want them to hear it, so when they're doing whatever they're doing, because I don't know what they're doing, but they're going to stop and say, what's going on? So how's everybody doing?
Unbelievable!
How's everybody doing?
Unbelievable!
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, well, I want to let you know that that's what I do when I start the class. Please have a seat. And then what I do is I try to spot out some people. I hope you're a good catcher. Throw some candy out there to be able to let people know that they're doing a great job and set the environment. Justin, over there. Okay. I want you to notice what kind of candy bars I have over here, though.
$100,000 bar.
And those are smart.
And these are Smarties. Okay, so I'm able to create this little environment on there when I have the candy. Now, so why do I do this? So I want to be able to I met Justin here for the first time today. Now, Justin, I want you to think back to the days when you were in high school. Okay, class comes about. Within the first few seconds, you're able to identify what the teacher's going to be like, what the class is going to be. Was that accurate?
It's true.
Kind of scoping out the girls as well, right? Am I right or am I right? Right?
True.
Let me tell you this, that as you enter the classroom, they will be able to make a judgment on you on what you're going to be like, how you're going to be able to present, how you're going to be able to be interactive. So you got to be careful as to what image do you want to have. So I want you to be able to think about that before you get in. Because I would suggest to you that you keep the tempo up, way up here, because you could go down. But if you start down here, move it back up, it becomes a little bit harder. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I want to be able to do that. And then when it comes to giving candies, I want to be able to tell you a reason why I have candies. Now when I go to class, I also do other things. I bring fortune cookies, big hit. Okay, I bring pens, cups. I have brought T-shirts. Okay, so there's something I got to tell you a story. I listened to this tape. It's called "How Do You Train a Killer Whale?" And the secret is not through negative and punishment, but positive reinforcements and rewards. People respond to that very favorably. And that's what you want to be able to do when you're in the classroom. You want to be able to catch them and say, you're with them, okay? So that's what happens within the first 3 minutes when I go and teach, that I want to let them know that I'm going to have fun. So the tempo has been created. The enthusiasm level has been created. They know what to expect, okay? So I could go down a notch, but like I said, I got their attention just like that within that first 3 seconds. Okay, so if we were...
Can you explain to them why you use the word unbelievable?
Thank you. I was going to mention that, and this is my wife, Stephanie, so she's always there to be able to support a lot. There's a few times that I am able to go to class, and she's able to, so I recommend that too if you have somebody that will be able to come. I know Brenda's able to encourage that. But unbelievable, let me tell you why that's a perfect word. Because if you had a great day, it's unbelievable. If you had a bad day,
It's unbelievable.
so no matter what happens, you could be at work and say, how you doing today? I'm unbelievable. And you're honest, okay? So, guys, that's my nugget about the first 3 minutes, and then maybe the first 5 minutes, the first impression you want to be able to talk to the kids. But then what about the rest of the time? Now, there's a language going on here because I'm going to be able to talk about a few things that they already talked about. The difference lies is I'm going to tell it through my eyes, what I hear, okay, and what I feel when I go through this. So these are 3 killer things that you're going to do, and maybe you're already doing it. But you're going to be able to do it maybe a little bit more, be a little bit better. So these are 3 things, no matter what the circumstances, what module, they all work in every situation. So 3 points that I just want to be able to point out. Number 1 is use their name. Now, Justin didn't know I was going to say anything about Justin, but his ears perked up when I said Justin. And he actually turned a little red. And that's what happens with kids. But here, just think about this. They don't pay attention. You say, Rick Fong. All of a sudden you woke up. All of a sudden you think it's just like cherries and berries in a rearview mirror. You just wake up really quick. So what you want to be able to do is be able to call them out. Get the name, the interaction. Use it in a positive way. Use it in a positive way. So number 1, if you were to be able to take notes, I would say use their names. Use their names. Use it often. They like to hear it. Okay. Nugget number 2. Key number 2 is tell stories. And there's 2 stories. Your own story and their stories. Now this is what I do when I talk to the kids, because there are kids out there that like to doodle. So what I say, Keith, if you could, doodle on something here that you like. And they don't have to be a drawer. They don't have to do anything, but just take a second. Guys, take a second, write this down. So as they doodle, I could be able to look at that, and if I could identify, some of them, they're artists. And they spend too much time, which is a bad thing. But there's other times where they draw something and it's just like, tell me about that. What does that mean? Why did you draw that? Why is a guitar important to you? Why is that? Okay, I get to find out their stories. As I go through this, if I'm going to have an impact on them, it's about them. It's about, what about me? Wham! What about me? That's what they're thinking about. If it does, if you don't move them inside, they walk out and you are just a boring lecturer. So what I do is I say stories. Find out about their stories. What moves them. Tell them stories that might be a little humiliating, but you can handle it because you're adults. Okay? What I mean by that is you make some mistakes. If you survey adults and you ask them this one question, did you make some financial mistakes in your life? Oh, yeah. And they say, only 1? Only 5? Come on now. You can be able to tell them, oh my gosh, I got one for you. And I bet you if I told you one, somebody can say, oh, you think that's bad.
Yeah.
How about this? You show me, well, I'll show you my scars. These kids want to hear that because that's what moves them into listening to you. Okay, that was number 2. Okay, number 3 is questions. Pat mentioned questions. You got to be able to ask questions. So there's elements of questions that you want to be able to do and understand. There's 2 parts of these questions that I'm going to be telling you. One set is questions that you ask them. And the second part that I'm going to be talking about is questions that you ask yourself. So questions that you ask them. You want to close them. Closing questions. Closing them on financial independence, financial literacy. Close them on opportunity about how great is it going to be. Okay? You want to be able to use leading questions. Lead them into habits. Lead them into situations where, like that the young man talked about not going to those check cashing. Lead them, okay? And then you want to be able to get involvement questions. Find out, like I said, find out about them. Because if you're talking about them, they're going to listen. And the last one, that is discovery questions. find out discovery questions. It's just a simple question. It's like, tell me more about what you just said. Tell me a little bit more. And when you get them talking, everybody listens. The other students listen. As a matter of fact, the other students like to be able to say, he's not going to get all the spotlight. I got something to talk about. And then it's your job to be able to harness this all together so they don't go too much on a tangent. Because you want to be able to get them involved, but at the same time, you don't want to go too far from the line that you're creating of educating. Okay? Now, that was the questions that you're going to be asking them. What questions do you ask yourself before you go through your presentation? What are the 3 questions that you're going to ask yourself? And not only what questions, but what proportion. I call it 1, 2, 3. You have to have 1 what, 2 hows, 3 whys. So what does that mean? You go through a presentation, you're talking about money. You talk about compounding, for instance. That's the what. Then you want to be able to go through 3 whys as to why is that important. Because if you talk all about what, definitions, PowerPoint to death, you know, PowerPoint, you're going to put them to sleep. That's all whats. You get into whys. Let me give you an example of some whys. Nobody wants money. And you're thinking, what? Because if you want money, you want to use the money to do something, don't you?
That's right.
Because if you just want money, why don't I just substitute your pile of money with monopoly money? We'll call it good. You want to use the money for something. And when you want to use the money, what is it that you would use it for? That's the whys when it comes to compounding. Because if you're going to be financially independent, you're going to do something with your life that you're going to enjoy. Those are the whys. So if you strike the compounding interest and you talk about the whys, and then all of a sudden you talk about the hows, now you've prepared them. See, I said 1, 2, 3. I didn't say it in that order. It's 1, 3, and 2, because then you go back, and now I'm going to tell you how, now that I got your attention. You know, I looked at your picture over here, and I see that you have a boat over here, for example. Now let's talk about that. Let's get that compounding going, and let's get you to that point where you could be able to have that compounding and grow. Okay, so if you use that, and you're looking at the presentation, it's like, okay, what 3 whys can I talk about that will move these students? Now, I just want to let you know, if you want to 1 class, you should know a little bit about the personalities of some of the students right off the bat. It's pretty easy to be able to look and be able to identify with the students, you know, once you start to get to know them. So, I just wanted to be able to share those 3 points with you and close it with 1 comment. And that's, it's not what you say, it's what they hear. It's what they hear. So how are you presenting in such a way so they can hear it? That's what I got.
Wow.
Thanks, Rick.